guys, it's Paige
and Autumn,
and we're coming to you today with our second podcast. We are super excited about it, and we're calling this one Hygiene Thanksgiving. We wanted to take some time out to share what we are thankful for this year in our personal lives and in our professions. We also want to let you guys know that our podcast will now be dropping on the 1st and the 15th of each month. So we'll have a little bit of a schedule for you guys so you know when to be looking out for our stuff. And they will be posted on all of our social media sites that we have currently. And a good place to start is our Facebook page. If you don't know what all's available, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, let's get it going. So life's changed a lot in 2020, right?
That's right.
I think we're going to break it up a little bit. We're going to do what we were thankful for in hygiene pre-COVID. And then a lot of things changed, and what we were really grateful for post-COVID, I should say. So, and then I think we'll wrap it up, and we'll talk a little bit about what we're thankful about in our personal lives too. Yeah. But so let's start off pre-COVID. I think pre-COVID, the number one thing you could not do your hygiene everyday job without is an ultrasonic scaler.
Oh, hands down, by far.
I mean, how do these hygienists that used to work like all the time, like the older hygienists, and they hand scaled everybody? Like,
kudos to you.
Yeah, seriously, because no way, Jose. Like,
no,
there's no way I could do that every day. I mean, my hands already hurt.
Yes,
and I use an ultrasonic all the time, so I can't even imagine.
Same.
What is your favorite ultrasonic insert?
Oh, I think this is gonna be controversial because I actually like the super thin cert.
Dentsply?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the green one?
It's purple.
It's purple.
But it has like the super thick grip, but it's super long and super thin. It's like the thinnest one there is. They do wear out really fast, but they kill those lower anteriors. So it's usually the one I like finish up with. But
do you use multiple ones, or do you?
Sometimes like I'll use like a triple bend green, like heavier one, and then or orange. I'm kind of going partial to the orange, but then I'll go back with the purple because those lower anteriors, like you'll go back and floss and you can feel it. Yeah. And that's the only one that I can just get it off with.
I am lazy. So I am, and I'm also bougie. So the only one
depends on
yeah. So the only type of inserts, I mean, I've used a lot of them, but I don't like to take it up mouth, turn it around. So the only one I use is I'll only use the swivels ones from Hugh. And my favorite one is also purple. It's the newer one. So it's, so I do like, when I'm doing SRPs, I typically start with the orange one, the triple bend. But when I want to do the anteriors, I switch to the purple, which they call it like, it is their thinner cert. It's not their thin cert, but it's like that. And it's a universal one. And it's, like, I think they call it the XT because it's longer too. Yeah. So it can get down further.
Yes.
So all those changes. But yeah, I'm so partial to my swivel because I don't ever like to take it out.
Yeah. I usually because I've never been used to working with a swivel, which they are very nice to work with. I just haven't had them, So I do one direction and then I go back and do the other. So I've kind of gotten used to that routine. Hey, Rowdy. Everybody, this is Rowdy again, in case you haven't met him.
Yeah, apparently he was feeling left out. We weren't talking to him.
That's right.
He's a good boy.
He's our best buddy. He really is a good boy.
Yeah. So I think those, obviously number one, but of course we do have to have our hand instruments. I mean, we have to come back to it. But literally my all-time favorite, it's in every single pack, although my packs are very small because I'm very limited to what I do.
Same.
I don't need a ton of different ones to do what I want to do. No. I want something that I can get the posteriors, so that I can get the anteriors. That's really all I care about. Same. Because I'm going to use the ultrasonic most of the time. But by far, without a doubt, my favorite instrument is Montana Jack.
Montana Jack, hands down. Yep. This year, because I had started at a practice that we were growing and building and all that, and so we needed new instruments. So I did a lot of research on Montana Jack-like instruments, and some of the companies sent me a free sample one that I could try, and there's a lot of cool new ones out there. The Montana Jack was the least expensive, and it has such a good feel, the way the metal glides across the teeth. Some of the other ones with the newer technology, it was hard to distinguish if there was still calculus or not because it has a grabbier texture to the tooth, so I just didn't like it as much. But yeah, hands down, Montana Jack. give me one of those, Mirror and Explorer, and
we're good to go.
Old Shot tips, we're good to
right? But it's also like, it's a good grip because it has that
little texture in it.
little texture in it, and it's also super light. So
Yes.
you're not holding a heavy. And
Yeah.
like you said, they're the cheapest of them all. They're not expensive, and personally, they're just like the GDHA, they sponsor a lot of stuff. We see PDT a lot, and the people who work with Panda Jack are just awesome people.
They
in
are
general.
incredible.
So it makes you want to spend your money. Personally, it makes me want to spend my money with them. But
yeah, well, when I called them and I was like, hey, we're looking at replacing all of our instrument kits, it'll probably be like 15 to 20 instruments, but I just wanted to compare the Montana Jack to some of these other ones that I was using. Do you mind sending me one? And she said, yeah, I'll send you two. And then she sent me like an extra instrument to try. And they were like super friendly, nice, like no questions asked. I mean, incredible. So that was another bonus for me. Like, they're good people, great customer service. So, but yeah, and even with the bigger grips, I thought I would love them, which they are comfortable in your hand, but some people can't open very wide. All people.
most people.
And so sometimes those thicker grips are actually harder to get in there sometimes.
Yeah,
so
it is.
it's a good like middle ground as far as the grip
I will
goes, but-
say, I do, in my packs, I have that, but I also have a 204.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we use that in school, and it's one of the few ones from school that I've kept around. It's
Same.
like a go-to for like the posteriors and stuff, because sometimes it gets a little bit better than the Montana Jack, which I do use the He-Fruity Ever Edge. And the only reason I use the Ever Edge is because it does last. It actually does last longer.
Yeah.
And I hate to sharpen instruments like with a passion.
Let's face it.
I'd rather just buy new ones.
Yes. And your patients probably would like you to do that
Yeah,
too.
seriously, I'm like, I've been graduated for how long now? That's probably how long it's been since I've sharpened an instrument.
I've always been partial to any kind of sickle, like an anterior sickle, posterior sickle, the 204. So yeah, but I do, that's the same too. I'm a Montana Jack and a 204, especially for like those posterior, like mesial first molar, that those people will build up a ton of tartar right there.
Yep.
I feel like that extra curve there helps.
Man, I had one this week, and I was like, not even joking you. It was just like squirrel. Sorry, guys. It was such a bad like SRP. There was so much calculus that I spent so much time on it. After I used the ultrasonic, I was still like, I was standing up. You know, like, this is not good ergonomics, people. Like, do not do this. I was standing up, and I was like trying to get, you know, you got to get good, like a good firm stance. That's what I was having to do, like stand up to give myself something
You just
behind
gotta
it.
do what you gotta do sometimes. I mean, I have had people walk past my room and they're like, what were you doing in there? Because I was like upside down, like trying to do something.
Yeah, that's probably why my back hurts.
You know, it just happens. Sometimes with certain patients.
That is another thing, speaking of which, that I'm super grateful for is massage. I got one today.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, because as a hygienist, there is no way. Like, people, like, if you've never got one and you're a hygienist, spend the money. It is worth it. I promise. You will never go back to not having one.
No, it's a game changer.
Yeah, today I was so bougie. I had them add hot stone on my upper back and biofreeze because I was so
Ooh.
tight this week.
I didn't know that was an option. Look at me.
Yeah, seriously, man. It was awesome. Like, and it like, whew, yeah.
Yes.
Massage. If you don't use it, do it. I also go to the chiropractor. That's another person I'm very thankful
That's
for.
what I was gonna say. I'm on top of the chiropractor all the time, especially being pregnant now.
Really? You go more often?
Yes. The other day I just walked in. I'm like, can you please?
That is one thing that I have enjoyed because I used to have like a family, more private practice chiropractor that I saw, like my family, they'd known him forever. And he was just further away, and it was harder, like, because then they take off time, kind of like we take off time. He had, like, Thursday fishing days. That's when I got off early.
Yep.
That doesn't work. But
Yep.
now there's a place that I can just walk into, like, literally right across the street, have a membership. I can go 4 times a month.
It's perfect.
With no extra fee. If you go extra, it's like $5 more. But I can literally go at lunch. I walk in, they do the job, I walk out, and I don't have to schedule an appointment or anything. It's like, right, I could walk to it across the street during lunch.
I know.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, I accidentally showed up the other day, and they were supposed to be leaving for lunch, and they fit me in anyways. I was like, I'm so sorry, I'll come back. They're like, no, it's fine, come on. I was like, hallelujah, because my back was killing me. But
I can't imagine being pregnant and doing it because my back hurts. It's probably because I'm doing crazy stuff. But
it is a whole nother ballgame being pregnant. I'm not gonna lie. I was working full time, obviously, and then I decided to resign my position, and then now I'm temping, but I'm temping at a pediatric office, and this kind of leads us into our next thing that we're really grateful for, which is dental assistants. We're always
hallelujah
super thankful for assistants, but it's funny because I've never worked in an office that has had hygiene assistants of any sort, and now that I'm working at the pediatric office, they have a hygiene assistant for every hygienist, and it has taken me to a whole nother level of like, this is awesome. And they are incredible. Like, they really, the girls I work with, they are all about making the day smooth for the whole team, and I feel like it just makes everybody work well together, and like it brings like a team camaraderie to things, and you know, nobody's like, this is my job or that's my job. Like, everybody's doing everything together, and it is amazing. And yes, being pregnant and my back and all that good stuff, like, oh, it's so nice having an assistant help.
Yeah, I don't have a hygiene assistant, but we have assistants that are just really good. Like, honest to God, any type of dental assistant in the office, they literally keep it running because they're the ones they have to keep the doctor, which is not an easy task. Keep them going when they're supposed to.
Yep.
Make sure they're seeing all their patients, and then they still help me on top of it. They take x-rays. You know, sometimes they'll come in and clean a room. They basically take care of sterilization most of the time. I don't have to do it. Like, I would be there hours longer if we didn't have dental assistants.
They're like little ninjas or like angels, because sometimes I'll just like walk in, I'm like, oh, this is already done. What happened? You know? And
exactly.
So it's been fun to get used to. But they're getting used to me too, because they're like not used to a hygienist who does all the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because they do it. And they're like, did you just ask to help with sterilization? I'm like, yeah, I did. Like, that's normal, right?
That's
they're like,
job,
nah.
right?
Like, you don't have to come back here. I'm like, okay.
There's like that person, like the woman that's in the kitchen, like, stay out of my kitchen, stay out of my sterilization area, you might mess it up.
It's hysterical. Yeah, but I feel like I'm a pretty good person with like telling people verbally like thank you and you know, being appreciative, but definitely during COVID and then this transition of physical difficulties with pregnancy and working, and just past the roof, the appreciation for assistance. So
yeah, they're super awesome. I'm also like, I have a really good front desk, so I'm appreciative of them because they make my calls. If I try to make my own calls. That's the thing that I'm big into, is I feel like hygienists, if I make my own confirmation calls, if I have time, like, it's good for patients to hear my voice, you know, because they know they have an appointment with me. It's funny because I made a call and I was calling to confirm a patient last week, and they answered the phone and they said, "Is this Autumn?" Like, before I even said, I was like, "How'd you know?" They're like, "I heard your voice and it was you." Like, they just expect me to call them.
That's awesome.
But sometimes they just don't have time.
Yeah.
You know, and that front desk is like standing there, they deal with all the crazies, you know, like they answer the phone and get the mad patients, or like they walk in.
Let me walk you up front and you can talk to
I have no clue. I don't know anything about insurance money. That's why I'll be like, let me let you talk to them. And then I'm like, they need help. Like, run out the other direction.
Yep, I know. And honestly, a good front desk person, they really can make or break the frustrations in your day, because if they know what they're doing and they're scheduling you appropriately and they're respectful of you as a hygienist, you know, a lot of places I've worked at, they don't ask the hygienist, like, hey, do you think this patient fits here or there or whatever? Like, the office will just slide them in there, and then all of a sudden you're like, 3 more patients popped up, and you're like, well, where did they come from? And it's their appointment time while you're with another patient. So when you have a really good front desk who's paying attention and they're communicating with you and telling you, hey, this patient's on the phone, they called, they need this, do you mind? Like, where works best for your schedule?
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference when they're on their ball game and they're trying to work as part of the team. I think that's a huge thing. It's just everyone trying to make sure they're respectful of each other. And
I'd say in my office, that's what I'm most thankful for, is that we do really work hard to work as a team, because if we didn't work as a team, we'd all just be running around, and then we got patients notice that too, you know, like they notice when a part of the team isn't like, you know, if I can't come into a room to perio chart a new patient, and me and my DA have some kind of conversation that's not, like joke around and not about what I'm about to do in their mouth, then they're kind of like, oh, You know, maybe
Yeah.
let's not be a...
Yeah.
Same thing when the doctor comes in. Like, if you can just have a conversation with them separate and laugh and joke, the patients feel more at ease.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it makes the appointment just feel more natural, too. Like, it's not stuffy or too... I mean, there's a balance between, like, professional and, you know, personal at the same time.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think patients like a combination of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's definitely...
It makes your life much easier when your team works
Yes.
team works as a team. There you go.
Yes. And I'll say this to encourage you, because I know there are a lot of offices where you have that one person. Everybody always hears that one person. You know, it's very easy to let negative behaviors kind of wear off on you, or say like, well, such and such doesn't do that, so why am I gonna, you know, and it can kind of trickle that way. I encourage you to just remind yourself that they're probably going through something behind the scenes at home or personally or whatever. You don't know. Yes, it probably drives you absolutely bonkers and causes you frustration in your day. But go out of your way for that one person, the person who is hardest, and mimic the behaviors that you're wanting to see from them. And a lot of the times it might be small changes. It may never change. But the fact that you're feeding that into them, a lot of the times they will start to just mimic that back, because they do appreciate that they're seeing you make an effort versus just giving them attitude back or not talking to them or not including them. Because really,
just puts a bigger wedge in between everything.
When it comes down to it, when you got a bunch of women in an office, I can guarantee you a lot of it comes down to people feeling, I don't know what the right word is, like left out in a sense of like, there's these people that get along really good and then I'm just left over here. Like I've heard that a lot in offices of like, there's this little clique and I'm not in it. So trying to make sure you're including people who maybe seem off to you or feel.
Or they just aren't, some people just aren't going to like step out and be willing to get into a circle if they're new or they feel like they're left out. They're not going to verbally speak that I'm left out. They're just going to continue to stay back. And then it's easy for you to be like, oh, they just don't want to hang out with us. You know, and you're not thinking I don't like them, but there's just miscommunication, because it's not that you don't like them. It's not that they don't want to be part of your group. It's just that nobody is going out of their way.
Nobody's making the effort to like clear up that awkward tension that's there.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing temping too, I've noticed, is like some offices, the girls are so good about being welcoming. They're like, go out of your way to talk to you, like ask about your personal life, and like they're asking if you need anything. And then other offices, like they just act like you're a temp, you're here for a day, like
I don't need to make a relationship with you.
Like we're just gonna leave you in the room. So I'm always paying attention to stuff like that too.
Makes you want to go back.
Makes you want to go back. Makes you want to stay if you're in that kind of team.
So if you need help, remember that.
That's right. You got to give what you want to get. So
I've also found something that we've started to do in our office on Fridays, because we always have a morning huddle where we come in, we talk about the day, we talk about, you know, anything that may be in the way, what we have room for, if we have room for emergencies to come in, those kind of things. But one of the things we try to do on Friday, instead of really we do talk about schedule a little, but more we talk about us as a whole. Like we try to be a team in our office, and if you have something that's going on that's not just at work or is personal, we want to help you with it. If you're doing something that's really exciting, if you're getting married, if you're buying a house, if you're having a baby, like anything that's exciting in your personal life, we want to share it too. So we've tried to do, they call it, the doctor calls it our therapy session. So we go around the room, we say one thing that was hard for us this week, and one thing that was really awesome for us this week. And it could be personal, it could be something at work, you know, those kind of things. Cool. And so when we talk to each other that way, you might see, well, I thought that person was just being lazy, or that person had a bad attitude this week. But then maybe they come and they say, you know, like, my car's been acting up and I've been, you know, trying to get something to do, you know, do this, and it's really stressful, or, you know, there's something going on in my family, or somebody's sick, and then you're like, oh.
It gives you perspective of like what's going on.
Exactly, because we all have those things. You know, we all have times that you go to work and it's really hard to put on that face like, yay, it's such a great day. And you're like, I got all this other stuff going on.
That's right. Absolutely.
So when you think about it, that you try to be empathetic to somebody else, it always makes it better.
Well, it kind of comes back to all the things that you're thankful for, of like everyone is a human being and has hard times in life, and you're so grateful and thankful for the people who decide to give you grace and pick you up in those moments. So it's kind of like the same thing happens at work and in your work environment. So I think it's important to remember. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Those are awesome ideas. I love that y'all do that in the meetings. That's cool.
Yeah, we're trying. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about a little bit 2020 like craziness. The one thing that I have found that
I need Diet Coke for this.
Right? The one thing that I was not using enough that I now use and will never go without using is my face shield.
Lord, yes. I should have brought you mine for an example.
I know you had to watch. I mean, like, that face shield, because when I came back into COVID, you know, we were wearing the N95s, we were watching all the stuff, we had our mask on, I mean, we got these
all
shields,
things.
and I was never wearing a shield, I was always wearing a mask, always had my loops. So I felt like this was protected, but oh my gosh, when I started using my face shield and I saw this stuff
splatter.
Like, what in the world? Like,
so gross.
Stuff that you had no idea was splattering up in your face. Like, you don't feel it, but it's there.
Yes.
And so I will never, ever go back without using it.
Me either. I bought my own and take it everywhere I go because I don't know who has what, but I'm the same way. I'm like, oh my gosh, especially if you Profi-Jet polish or any of that kind of stuff. It's insane. And even the hair, like, I don't wear the hair caps all the time.
Yeah, I don't anymore.
Because being pregnant, super hot, and that like holds all the heat in my body. But even that kind of thing, you're like, man. So now I go home and shower like every single day, right when I get home from work, which I usually have always done. But the face shield has really made me like.
Well, my face shield,
aware.
I feel better about that because I don't wear the hair bonnet anymore. But that I was using right after COVID, which if you still wear hair things and you haven't looked on Etsy to find the cute ones that have they have a thing for your ponytail in it. It is so awesome. Not only are they cute and they have something that they could like tie, so it's like a ponytail,
a ribbon,
but it just makes so your hair is not like in a big rat's nest at the end of the day from like trying to pull it up.
Yeah.
But that's a side note.
Your bun's not like off the side of your head.
I know. But since I don't use it, the shield that I use, I actually got it right before we went back because I saw them posting on it. It's the oroscopic one, and so it doesn't have it. The light doesn't clip on the outside, but when I wear the light on my loop, the actual shield comes out far enough so you can wear your light underneath it. But because it has a visor right here, so it is covering this part of my hair, and then my hair is. I wear my hair back all the time. I don't ever wear my hair down at work. So it is like taking care of some of this part that would be splattered. So I do like that about that shield.
Mine is that way too. I don't have that same one. I have like one of the OPDI 2 or something, but it was super expensive during COVID to buy. But it has that like kind of projector shield here too. It was supposed to be like far enough off to where your loops fit, which they do. Like I can wear them under, but with all the mask and being pregnant and being like 130 degrees radiating off my body all the time, all of it fogs up. So I quit wearing my loops anyways because I couldn't handle all of it. But yes,
that is something you have to get used to is the fogging up. I currently have a fan that. I mean, I'm not pregnant, but I'm like hot natured, so I'm constantly hot at work. I'll be running around, but I've always worn a lab jacket when I work because I got an overgown during COVID that I wore. It was longer, but I've always worn a jacket because you
feel that stuff all over your arm.
Yeah, and it's not fun,
especially like polishing.
Yeah, so I'm so hot. And so I keep a fan that's like literally, and it's a small one, and I don't face it to the patients because your patients are always complaining about how cold they are when they come in the office because we keep it down. So I just turn it so it faces me and it blows on me.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have one, you should get one.
You should definitely get one.
Yeah.
We should link to like a good fan that goes for the laboratory. I have a friend, hers like clips on to the desk. I was like, that's genius because mine, which I heavy duty, high powered one for pregnancy, but it would like jiggle so much that it would like eventually like fall off the side of the counter. So I had to like prop it up between the computer screen and like a box of gloves. Like it was so funny.
Do whatever you can to make it stay.
Absolutely. So those are really nice. When you have that, you can clip it on firm to the desk.
Yeah, those are nice. The other thing that I started using post COVID was the high-speed evacuator.
Yeah.
We use the Leaf is what we got afterwards. I know there's a lot of different ones on the market and everybody has their current one, but another thing, like you still don't realize how much aerosols you're putting off. And so, just using the Leaf to catch all that stuff for you. I know there's tons of them, like, I know doctors who have gone out and, like, bought the, filters that go in the rooms and you move them around and, like, filter all this stuff out of the air, which is so nice. These things are super expensive.
Super expensive. Yeah. I think we wound up, because we tried, like, 3 or 4 different ones and came back to the Leaf. Most of the hygienists did, because it's, like, once you've got it set up and in there, it's comfortable for the patient. They could still close down on it. It was easy to clean and then reset up. Like, some of them were like good ideas, but they weren't very practical once you started trying to get in the mouth with it, and getting it set up was a pain. And so, yeah, I definitely think we all settled on we liked the Leaf the most. But they are kind of pricier. So
yeah, they are. But,
very nice
sometimes,
to have.
We have to think about, especially with COVID,
Risk and
we
reward.
have to think about risk. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly. So come back to work so we can do those things. That's really important. Speaking of like Prophy Jet splatter, have you ever tried the young, what do they call them? They're the splatter-free Prophy angles.
I don't think so.
I love them. The only reason I've used, they're again, some of these things that they're more expensive to order because, they're not your typical Prophy angle. I mean, they are your typical Prophy angle, but.
Is that the Vera?
Yes, the Vera.
Yes, I have tried those. Never mind.
They're
Yes,
so good.
I love them. They're my favorite.
Yeah, and they're so soft, and they spread out. Like when you put it on the tooth, it kind of like spreads out a little bit, and then seriously, you don't even have to put your saliva ejector in there to catch that extra stuff. Like you can just polish and not have to worry about it.
The little things, absolutely, yes. I used to order those once I found them, and then we went to some like generic brand.
Trying to save a buck
at my new office.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I get it. We all got to save $1 somewhere, but if you can get them, like I got some recently at a GDHA function. They were Young Dental was there, and they set up and they were giving out samples. And at the end of the day, she had like seriously an entire bag full.
You're like
a whole box. I hoarded them jokers. I took them all home.
I would too.
I call them. They're mine.
It's the little things. It really does. And when you're not having to like clean up paste or whatever, like it does give you a few extra seconds in your workflow. Like it can save money long term, I guess, if you think of it that way. But yes, I do love those. And it's hard once you're used to something like that to go back to your generic. You're like, but yeah, definitely. Those are awesome. Yeah. Really awesome.
All right. Do you have anything else hygiene related you can think of off the top of your head?
No, I can't think of anything. I think we talked about all the things I thought of.
Okay. So I guess we can finish up on a personal note because, like we said in our first podcast, if you look, we want us to be a community. We want you to join our Facebook pages. We'll have a private group once we open up our coursework and you do any courses with us. We'll have a separate private group that you have access to.
2022, hopefully.
Coming in 2022. Coming soon. We need that Disney
Coming
credit.
soon in 2022 as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. A lot of things going on in 2022.
That's right.
That's exciting.
That's right.
But I think personally, on a level, I have a lot of things to be grateful for in 2021. One, we didn't have the craziness in 2022, so I have a steady job that I go to that I don't have to worry about money or, like I was saying, I have a great team that I work with every day. I have great leaders that I work for, so I'm very grateful for that. But I got married in 2021, so that was pretty awesome. I'm grateful for my now husband.
He's pretty awesome.
He is pretty awesome. He's behind the camera, so y'all won't ever see him, but he's there.
He does a lot of hard work for us because he's just so nice.
Yeah. But we got married. We had this. We moved into this new house. I'm super grateful that we were able to do that.
Yeah.
And
the house is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, we're working on it. He's very grateful that I haven't gone and spent all of our money yet on putting things
She has good style. She's got good style.
I just want to do it all at once. I have so much, try to do that. And I am grateful that we're going into 2022. And it's going to be a busy year, but it's also, I feel like it's going to be a really exciting year.
Yeah, for sure.
We're definitely welcoming baby Cranford. I won't say his name, so I don't know if we're putting it out there like
that.
No,
that's fine.
And I'm grateful for being able to start this podcast with Paige. You can't work with people a lot of times out of your friend, much less your best friend, and still have a relationship with them. So
we prayed on that really long time before we decided.
We did. It's something that we had, that was like the number one thing. Like we know that we have the same, we are very passionate about the same things in hygiene, but we don't want anything that could ever come between our friendship. So we prayed on that a long time, but I'm grateful that we've started dental hygiene development.
Hey, and communication, because we communicated about it previously. We were like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Communicate people.
We set boundaries for the personal and the friendship before we ever started. So yeah, communication.
I think communication is key for friendships and marriages, in your work relationship with people. If you expect something from your employer or the people you work with, and you don't ever tell them you expect that, and they don't ever say it, you can't be mad at them because they don't know that you expect that.
That's very true.
So you have to be able to communicate. So yeah, communication. We're thankful for communication.
Thankful for communication.
Okay, Paige, what are you thankful for in 2021?
Oh, well, I mean, I think this one, 2021, I will say was a year of a lot of changes for us, but super thankful for our baby on the way.
Yeah.
Personally, we were not supposed to be able to have kids, and we've lost a baby in the past, and so for us this was like our little miracle baby. And I know not everybody's faith-based, but we are, and so it literally was a miracle, which we can talk about that another time. But so yep, I found out on Mother's Day, which was really special.
That is really special. Y'all, when Paige sent me a message and told me she was pregnant, I was up. She thought she was gonna was it a Snapchat that you sent me or something? That was like, call me, and it was like a picture of your pregnancy test. Chad was sitting on the bed, and I was like, Paige is pregnant! And I'm not a morning person.
No, me either. But it was a morning surprise.
Yeah.
And it was just funny because I had no idea. We've been married 9 years, and we've wanted to have kids for like 5 years now. And it's just, we were content and trusting the Lord. We're like, you know what? It is what it is. We're happy together, and we'll take the blessings that we have. And then surprise, we got another one. So we're super excited about that.
It's all in the race. God's timing.
Yes, absolutely. And honestly, I'm super thankful for how this year's gone with like work and stuff, because I was at a wonderful office. I love the place, and then we were able to come to like a really cool agreement as far as like me needing to be out with the baby and all that stuff, and then now being able to temp at some really great offices but still have a good relationship with my previous place. And it's really just been somewhat perfect, but I didn't know it was going to be.
Yeah,
and so
it's
been really exciting. I'm kind of sentimental, in case y'all didn't notice yet, but so when he gets here, I'll be able to have a little more flexibility with work and stuff. So I'll get to spend quality time with him, just in case he's our only baby that we get to have. But yeah, that's honestly, I feel like that just like trumps everything. I'm sure there's tons of stuff I should be grateful for, but
no, you're right. That's so then, like, how can you think about anything else?
I know, it's really awesome. So we're excited.
Yep. And I think that we are super thankful for everybody who watches our podcast, who supports Paige and I in dental hygiene development, outside of dental hygiene development. I mean, we couldn't do anything that we do without our family and our friends and all of our supporters. So we thank you. We want y'all to be involved. So again, listen on the 1st and the 15th.
That's right.
We're going to be coming up. We got to think of it. We haven't even decided yet, but obviously it's going to be Christmas. So guess what, guys? This house is going to be decorated for Christmas. Woo-hoo! Chad's so excited.
Definitely. And we want to hear from y'all. So tell us things that you're thankful for at work. Because I think the more we share things like that and point them out, the more we'll see them in our day to day. And it kind of changes our perspective of like, you know what? I really should be thankful for that. And I didn't realize it before. So hop on, shout it out, say it out loud. I think it has power when you say things verbally or type them out or think on them. So get out there. That'll be your little challenge. Get in there and let us know what you think and things that you see that maybe we didn't see this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also, let us know topics that you want us to talk about. I mean, we're going to be doing this twice a month, so we can talk until we're blue in the face, but we want to do things that you are interested in and you want to hear about. Eventually we want to get to where we have other people on with us that can come and
come visit, hang out with us.
Come hang out with us. Come give us their perspective on things that they're much better at than we are, because everybody has their own thing. They're passionate about their own talents, and we want to hear those things. So let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you want to see. We're gonna be dropping those twice a month, and we look forward to seeing you both.
Hey, and I just wanted to say last, I'm thankful for you, by the way.
I'm thankful for you.
She's not an awesome hygienist, super passionate about the field and like doing all kind of crazy things, but she's also a wonderful person. She's kind, she's loyal, she's always there. Couldn't ask for a better best friend. So 2021 and my entire life since I've ever known you, super thankful. You guys, when you have people like her in your life, make sure you tell them, because that's a special thing.
Well, now I can't even come behind that.
Well,
she's thankful. I'm thankful for Paige too.
I know. It's awesome.
All right.
She's like sister, friend, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for podcast 2, and look for podcast 3. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.